Hi, my name is Meg Edwards and I'm a GTD coach, and today I wanted to talk about Horizon 5, which is on purpose and principle. And David first introduces the higher horizons in chapter 2 of the Getting Things Done book, and on page 56. And I just want to read you this little paragraph about how he's formatting and formulating this horizon. He says, "This is the big picture view. Why does your company exist? Why do you exist? What really matters to you no matter what? The primary purpose for anything provides the core definition of what the work really is. It is the ultimate job description. All goals, vision, objectives, projects, and actions derive from this and lead towards it." That's it. But then he goes on, because I think this is helpful when we're talking about all the horizons, which I've done in the last couple of videos, is he goes on and says this about the horizons. "These horizon analogies are somewhat arbitrary, and in real life, the important conversations you will have about your focus and your priorities may not exactly fit one level or another. They can provide a useful framework, however, to remind you of the multi-layered nature of your commitments and tasks. Obviously, many factors must be considered before you feel comfortable that you have made the best decision about what to do and when. Setting priorities in the traditional sense of focusing on your long-term goals and values, though obviously a necessary core focus, does not provide a practical framework for a vast majority of the decisions and tasks you must engage in day to day. Mastering the workflow of your work at all the levels you experience that work provides a much more holistic part to get things done and feel good about it. All part 2 of the Getting Things Done book that he says will provide a specific coaching about how to use these models for making action choices and how the best practice for capturing, clarifying, planning, organizing, and reflecting all contribute to your greatest success with them." So again, I love how David frames this. And I then wanted to say, okay, so that's all great, but how do I kind of create it, or how often do I look at them? And then in making it all work, David devotes a whole chapter to vision. And I know that in the beginning, in the early years, I didn't necessarily stumble upon purpose, but I kind of stumbled upon principles. And I just want to read you this little section here if anybody else might be kind of trying to figure that out. And he says on page 259 this, he goes, "In general, an excellent time to refer to this section of the roadmap, which is purpose, is when it is critical to define the parameters of activities that ensure aligned and effective functioning for individuals, groups, and even whole cultures. This could cover topics ranging from how frequently everyone agrees to check his emails to the point at which a country should draft a Bill of Rights. The principle level will also be relevant when disagreement and inappropriate behaviors show up. Because it is human nature to assume everyone around you shares your values, you often become aware of your own values only when someone else violates them. Ain't that the truth? The more awareness of principles is acknowledged and embraced by everyone at the early stages of relationship building, the easier it will be to manage those developing and challenging situations to resolution and closure, to deal with them before they become too toxic. As a general rule, the more you explore and identify what you personally consider the most essential factors and features in your life, the more solid your reference point for the times when you have to make tough choices. Is this decision really in keeping with my purpose? Does it line up with what I consider really important? That's the kind of perspective that provides the greatest ballast for staying in control in deep seas and rough waters. I am so, again, appreciative of this framework and this model because it has helped me so much in my life, personally and professionally, when I fleshed out my personal purpose, our company purpose, and my principles. again, I can absolutely remember when I'm sitting at a seminar a long time ago, and David was talking about this, and he said that sometimes you don't know what your principles are until they're violated. And all of a sudden, I just took a piece of paper out and I'm like, it's really important for me that people are kind and reliable and trustworthy. It's like, oh, those are my principles, I can't believe not everybody is like that. I also introduced this to my daughter Annie when I think she was about in 4th or 5th grade. She had attended a Montessori school, which was very much about being a peacemaker. And then she went to a Quaker school. And in the Quaker school, they taught something called the spices, which was about simplicity, peace, integrity, community, equality, and stewardship. And I added those to my purpose and principles list with Annie. I remember sitting actually in this office and creating them with her. And it's really stuck with her, as well as the things that she also added, which is also, it's really important for her in terms of being trustworthy and reliable and honest and kind. And so I just wanted to, again, introduce this into the GEM series so that by this point at the GEM series, I think we're really kind of a little bit past the halfway point. I've talked about all of the components of GTD. There's 16 components to it. The 5 phases of workflow: capture, clarify, organize, reflect, and engage, the natural planning model and the 5 steps for that, and then the horizons. So as always, would love to hear any comments, any thoughts, any questions that you have about Horizon 5. And then I will be kind of continuing with this GEM series. Now, really, even though, I was starting with just this book, I'm going to continue showing you how I integrate all of David's books with mining these wonderful gems that he has really uncovered over all of these decades. So thank you very much for participating in the GTD GEM series, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you. For more GTD resources, please visit gettingthingsdone.com and David Allen's YouTube channel. For more information on GTD coaching, please email us at info@gtdfocus.com or visit our website at gtdfocus.com.